All right, everyone. So tonight, I did a review a week or so ago on Gold Hog's 2-pound mystery bags. This is their 1-pound sampler. This is probably the most common thing that you'll see on eBay. They suggest not bidding more than $9.50 on eBay for it, just because they think that that's a fair value. We're just going to not classify this down the same way I normally do. We're going to just run this through real quick. We'll check the rocks, and then I'm going to separate out that fine powders. I'm going to screen that down to 3 different layers and then run that through the miller table. And I'll probably show that tonight with the modifications that I did on that as well. Again, the thing that I like about Doc at Gold Hog is this: he doesn't consider this Paydirt. This is concentrates, and he doesn't add anything to it, and he doesn't take anything away. So, that being said, we might find nothing in here, and we might find gold. And so he likes to call it a day of prospecting in a bag. And so we're just going to take this back over here. Like I said, we'll run through these rocks real quick. And then I'll classify the rest of that stuff down. It's kind of what I kind of like about Doc's stuff, and I'll go through these rocks. You probably heard me talk about it later. Is that usually right on the top of the bag, even right off the top, you see some nice gems. And I guess maybe that's in his mystery cons. I've only bought or had one other pan of this size before with him, and that was before I really even knew what I was doing. He was one of the first places I ever tried. And so you definitely want to go through these rocks again for the simple fact, like I said, he might have gems in there. A lot of times I'll get some amethyst at least. Always garnets and things in his mix. And then also I always look at the quartz and make sure that you don't have any gold attached to those quartz veins as well. That's some smoky quartz there. You can see how dark it is. So that's a sinker, I think. One of the things that real commonly you do find in DirtHogg stuff for the fact that, like he said, these are usually just runs out of his sluice. He numbers the runs. You're not necessarily getting, the next time you order, you're not getting anything close to what he's saying is the same stuff for the fact, like I said, that he just numbers it out. He's not adding to it. So on our day of prospecting, it looks like out of all those rocks, I think you can see this here, those tiny 2 or 3 little pieces. So we'll get those in the sniffer bottle, and then like I said, I'm going to classify down this Paydirt into 3 different sizes and run it over the miller table, and I'll show you some of that as well. We'll be back. Alright guys, so this is the modification I made to the miller table, and I will run some rocks down this quick just to see. This is that biggest classification of what we pan down. So there you can see right there. Hopefully you can see that. Nice little picker there. And usually I have a brush to do that with, to wave down the water. And what you're looking for here is obviously gold is the heaviest thing. So all that other stuff washes away and leaves the pieces of gold right behind for us to just suck right up. One piece we missed there. Alright, then the next size again, we're just going to let that run off, and we want pieces like that are left behind. My kids took my paintbrush, so normally I'd have that to brush those things aside. Make sure the water's flowing right. And I don't overly feed this at a time. A lot of people dump everything on it. I just let it kind of do a little bit at a time. Try to let it do the work. The one modification I did make to this, as you guys maybe can see from the other video, is I did add on a self-healing mat. And what that mat is supposed to do is to grip the gold a little better than the plastic that was on there before. Okay. And we got one more classification yet before the tiny stuff. Again, we're just looking for what gets left behind, like these two little pieces here. Here's one here. We're just going to go in there, suck those up. This thing has been an amazing time saver, rather than panning everything down. Granted, panning's fun, but getting into the gold is just as fun too. Everybody around in the prospecting groups, you know, say flat out, just get a gold cube. One day Doc, oddly enough, Doc is the creator of the gold cube as well, who is the owner of DirtHogg, or excuse me, Gold Hog. So, all right, and then the very last section of Paydirt is this. This is the fine stuff, so what you'll notice is the blonde's washing away real quick in this stuff, and then the black sands will stick around a little bit longer. And with this stuff, you'll watch a little bit lower on the table for the fact that you might be carrying stuff down a little further with it. This mat, I do have to say, was a good idea. Just right now, going through this stuff and even just using the sniffer bottle to get it out is way better off this mat than it was off the board. Again, the Miller table, as cheap as it was, one of the reasons I got it was so that I could play around with it a little. And that little mat, self-healing mat, I probably could have got it a little cheaper, but was $20. It was the closest one to what I needed that they made for size. And then I cut it down as well, just so that I could get it to be the right dimension from side to side for what I needed. Again, these are all those black sands, and this is why usually I have a brush. Don't want to stop the video just to get it, but usually I brush those out of the way, let some water move around it. Sometimes it's because it's gold there. Sometimes you just got a heavy piece of something. And again, for water flow, you're really going to experiment with this. I have this basically a sheet of water. As you can see, I don't have water on both sides, so it does create a little bit of a faster flow of water down the center. But you'll adjust the angle, the water flow. I changed the angle here because of what I did with the mat. I have to start the water down a little higher so it doesn't actually come in contact with the mat for a little ways down. And that's because I didn't want to build up the water in the back and have a dam rushing over. I wanted to try to make it as nice of a little angle and slush as we could. And again, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm even sucking up here, but it's that fine, fine microscopic gold. That's one of the reasons I do like DirtHogg, and I do believe when he tells me they're coming out of his sluice. Is because a lot of the companies like eBay, the eBay companies you'll see, they're loading their dirts and they don't have fine fines. A lot of times coming out of the dredge and out of the tools that they're running, that's really what you're going to see are those real fine microscopic gold pieces, because that's the stuff that in reality isn't worth them adding, because most people panning are going to miss it anyways. So what you'll see is, like I said, Doc is very, very adamant about the fact that they don't add anything to their pay dirt, and they won't start. They don't want to be a pay dirt company. He likes the idea of the prospecting side of things, and you might, again, strike it rich, you might not. And I should just say, anybody trying to strike it rich on a bag of pay dirt probably is not going to. You know, obviously you might have the occasional cleanup like I did the other night with DirtHogg, not to be confused with Gold Hog. But I had a 10-gram clean out there. That was the best pay dirt I've ever come across, and like I said, I think I got lucky and got a few of their bonus bags. I'm just going to load this up a little more just so that you can see. You know, water still will do its job. It'll still flow. It's still going to wash it down. It just takes a little bit longer. You know, you can start to see the gold specking out here and here and here. Maybe as it's running, I can kind of zoom in on some of those pieces so that you can see that maybe. Yeah, right there. And there, those are little specks of gold running down there. I did find my brush, so I'm going to show you what I usually do with that. Like I say, I'll just move these around a little bit, and a lot of what's holding up these pieces here, you can see this is gold, 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 gold. And why I use the brush is because then you can come along and concentrate all that gold into one spot. Again, this modification I made to this table, guys, getting the gold out of it was really one of the reasons I did it. And this is the first time I've used it since I modified it, and I can tell you just from being able to brush those specks into one corner to collect them, that mat alone was worth the money I spent on it. Not having to worry about, as I'm brushing them, if it's the water flows too high and it's running down the table. Normally I'd stop this, but I'm almost done with this dirt, and so we'll just do it all the way, and you guys can see how a miller table works. Again, this stuff has been classified down to 3 different classifications. You don't want to run your material all at once, you know, dump a whole bag out and run every size through. The bigger material is just going to end up getting caught by the water, and it's just going to push your gold right out with it. Again, that little tiny piece is what was holding up all of that gravel from going down. And the last little scoop here. So that, guys, is my modification. So there's the finished product there. 0.2 grams. About $4 of gold, $20 bag. This has actually been probably the lowest return on investment I've ever had from Gold Hog. So all in all, again, not terribly upset with that. That's what you come to expect. You could hit some, and you could miss it all. Usually you'll start to see bigger flakes and bigger pieces when you're close to the gold with them, and so there weren't very many bigs in this at all. So all in all, like always, I give DirtHogg at least an 8 out of 10. I like the experience. No big gems in this one, but I love the gems. I love the rocks. It's just kind of a fun side effect of the panning. So everybody have a good night, and may there always be some color in your pan.